You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV.
It's going to be a reoccurring theme this season, everybody. Did you just do that? With over 20 million weekly downloads, listened to in over 100 different countries, we're your one-stop, one destination for true after-show entertainment. What's everybody? What's everybody?
What's up, everybody?
What's up, everybody? They say better than I do. It is Bachelor in Paradise, yo. Season 1, episode 1. I'm never good with the finger things.
Can you do I can only do the West Side with one.
Okay. I'm JC, and across the table, let us introduce our wonderful panel. Cathy, what is wrong with you?
Just spilling blood. Whoa, wait.
Hey, guys. I'm excited to be here.
And next to Cathy, who do we have today? With the muscles.
No, stop it. I'm trying to spell blood.
You're like all swollen. It's like someone should rub ice on you. You need your own zip
My
code.
name is Daniel Jacob Hoyt, and I'm
He's
excited
in
to be here.
his own paradise, and it is called the Valley.
Nice.
Live in the valley?
We'll let those two squabble, but no show would be complete without our main man running the ones and
said that
twos,
so.
Mr. Stephen Lemieux. What's up, Stephen?
So
Good to hear from you, buddy. All right, guys. We are so jacked, and as you can tell, we're getting... Okay, Cathy, Danny, I'm going to put you guys in timeout if you do not stop giggling.
I'm sorry.
We are here to do a show.
We
Yes, very serious show.
This show
It's
makes
about
me happy.
love.
It makes me excited.
Yeah?
It's about love.
It's very serious.
They're here to stay if they only find love. Mm-hmm. If they do not, they must leave paradise
They have
forever.
to leave.
Yep.
Sorry for our friend,
I know.
our co-host, our lovely
Daniela.
Daniela.
Yes, our AfterBuzzer co-host, our spot and fill-in, Daniela had to go home tonight. Thoughts?
Bummed about that.
Well, let's get... Actually,
We'll talk about it from the top.
We'll let y'all stew a
We'll
little
rewind.
bit. Yes, but let us get in overall thoughts of this whole concept. Temptation Island meets Paradise Hotel meets The Bachelor. What is this?
Cathy first.
It seems, thank you, by the way. It seems more relatable it seems like their relationships have more of a chance of, or more relationships have a chance of forming because you have more of an even number of guys and girls.
Okay.
I feel like a lot of them do know each other outside of this, so it doesn't really make sense, like, why, if they did like each other, they didn't date outside of the show before coming on. So that's kind of my thoughts on it. But I do like the dates and everything. They seem more real. Being able to take photos on the dates is a normal thing as opposed to it being
So that's a difference
completely
maker.
secret. I mean, it seems like more like, okay, you're going on vacation with your boyfriend or girlfriend, not, this is a competition and,
And Cathy, I gotta pull you to task here. You see Danny and I in our beachwear. Where is your? I thought you were gonna be wearing like a
Is this what you wear to
Are
the
you
beach?
kidding me, though? Someone mentioned earlier that I looked so beachy.
Very beach elegant. Okay, the reason I'm bringing this up.
You look like you could go. You could go on the beach in Bachelor in Paradise, but not on our paradise right
Yeah, but all the girls dress up on the show. I have another show before this. I just want to look cute.
All
for
right.
You
What
look
you
fantastic,
do.
but
You
I
look
think
very
for the
nice.
theme, I'm gonna put it out to fans to send you like a lay or something. Like send you
Yes.
something, a cute little lay for each week.
You want
saying
the
I need to
fans
get
to lay
laid?
her.
I did not say that. I did not say that.
I need to
I
get
heard you
laid,
say.
apparently, so.
All right.
All right.
Listen, I know it might be kind of hard to take us serious. We just wanted to do something fun for Bachelor in Paradise.
Kind of
That's
like
what
the
it is.
show. I mean,
No.
it's an island setting.
Here's
know.
my overall thought. I feel like it's gonna be a little weird because usually we're watching one girl and a bunch of guys, or one guy and a bunch of girls. So I got a couple times tonight was trying to keep track of the dynamics. Like, okay, wait, we have this couple and this couple. Like it's a little more to keep track of. I feel like, and there's a little more to remember.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot more triangles. Like this tangled web is already
Like
tangled.
a love octagon.
We
It's
had
like
to
a
use more
love
of our brain
octopus.
cells on this one because usually it's like Date
since they're on the
one,
beach.
2-on-1 date, final rose. That's it. We move on to the next week. You know.
Yeah, and then apparently you can jump in the middle of the rose ceremony like Michelle K and say whatever you want.
Yeah, Michelle K. Really?
Do you
We'll
think we're
find
gonna?
out what happens next week.
What could have happened?
I think it's related. Well, it seems like it's related to the guy or girl who had the broken feet.
Somebody
or
jumped off
broken
a
legs
balcony?
or something there.
I don't know.
Just to express their love.
This is like so much
It's
fun.
very rare that they show the producers, which we'll talk about later,
Yeah.
how they cut out a producer and substituted a raccoon for it. But I mean, seriously,
Yeah.
it must get intense next week because you see all of the people behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So something goes down.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not to make any light of it. I'm sure, to.
And if someone has 2 broken ankles, that's.
Early prediction on who it goes down between 2 guys or 2 girls. I'm going with 2 guys.
It looked like guys' feet.
Yeah, it looked like it. To me, it looked like a guy as well.
If I had to guess which 2 guys, I'm gonna go with Robert
Okay.
and potentially Marcus over Lacey.
Yeah, because
Just a random guess. If you have to guess, who would you guess right now? Off
those
what you
don't
know.
look like Lacey's feet to me.
No. I think it's one of the guys' feet.
Okay. I thought you meant it was Lacey's feet that were in the cast.
Oh no. I mean like who fought? Potentially.
I don't
know. Based off what we know, who else would fight?
I thought they said that's the reason why Michelle went home. Like, we'll find out more of why Michelle went home.
Yeah, because she's slamming the door. As you can
Yeah.
see, we're kind of in the dark on this one.
Yeah,
right now,
I kind of
so
like
we're
it
on-
though. It's kind of like there's just a lot more to be intrigued
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
You know? That's what I'm saying.
And we haven't even gotten to tonight's episode.
Let's do it.
Overall thoughts, and the first person we have in the island setting, which I thought was peculiar. I was telling before we went on, Kathy, I told you, if you listen to the audio, it
yeah.
seemed like this fabricated kind of ocean sound to it. Watch it. Yeah, I was like, it doesn't match up. It sounded kind of weird.
Yeah.
But we see the lovely Claire, runner-up for Juan Pablo season.
Juan Pablo. I thought it was even interesting the way they debuted all of them. Like right before she comes on, it goes, now we're going to introduce you to the brokenhearted. And I feel like the only one that was really brokenhearted was Marcus. Everybody else seemed really like spry spirits.
Yeah, they all seem like they got over it, and
Even Claire, she's like as smiley as can be.
Yeah, but speaking of Marcus, is it too soon? I mean,
Oh, it definitely was too soon. He
Yeah.
had just come off of Andy's season.
and he
Yeah.
loved her.
They hadn't even aired Andy's season when he was there.
See, and that's what could we possibly run into the scenario of like
Him just finding
bouncing
a
into
rebound.
new love? Yeah, a rebound
Yeah.
love.
Yeah.
And if I'm a girl, I don't want to be a rebound on
But
national
she probably
TV.
has no idea.
That is true.
Oh, yeah.
That's very
She
true.
can't.
He
Yeah.
hasn't revealed anything
So
yet.
does he just seem like a heavy version of himself to these girls then? Like, he can't say.
I think that's almost like some of the girls, since they don't know that he was in love with Andy or admitted that he was in love with Andy, that they're like, oh, well, he's just like, playing hard to get. Like, when he's really just thinking for
He's really just like...
Does that explain when he's out in the ocean by himself in his skivvies?
Yeah.
seemed really awkward.
In his orangey, I was gonna say whitey tighties, but they were all in his orangey,
Whitey
in his orangey,
Well,
oranges.
so there's a lot going on in there,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's good to see him. I hope he heals.
Yeah. Going
Yeah.
back to Claire, this is what you do when you're walking in sand, in heels. You take them off.
Take them off.
Note to other people.
I always take my heels off when I'm in sand.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm there. I'm there with you. Okay, so let's keep moving on. We also have the lovely and the sweetest can be Sarah Heron.
She is like the sweetest human. She is so awesome.
I love her.
Yeah.
Like I liked her on Sean's season, but tonight she just like was so freaking classy, and you felt for her like that.
and also, like, I felt
feeling.
I felt props for her though, like that she went for it. I was kind of like,
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead, get
Yeah.
it.
extremely relatable. I think a lot of women have that feeling where I'd like to really ask this guy out,
Yeah.
and she did. And we'll get into what happened during the date,
Yeah.
but I mean, I think it's a win-win for her. I mean, America's gonna love her even more, and I think she seems a little more mature.
She's coming out of her shell.
That was a good one. That was a good
Oh,
one.
beach puns already. We're 9 minutes
Wait,
in.
I have one that we're not to the guy yet, but I have one.
Okay, so let's move. Okay, Markel. Is it a beach pun for Markel?
Marcel the Shell. Have you guys ever seen the Marcel the Shell videos?
But his name's Markel.
But I was hoping like Markel would do. It would be funny if he did
I
something.
thought he would have came up
I
with
would've
like
laughed.
flans, like flans
Cookies.
instead of cookies.
Because I always talk about it, I have to say Markel by far the best outfit of anybody tonight. Came in with a hat. I'm doing
He
this in
was
honor
ready.
of you, Markel.
He was
He was
ready.
ready for the beach. He had his pants rolled up. It was It's my favorite.
He's always spot on. So will he find love? We'll see. But then, fellow AfterBuzzer, I don't know why I'm saying that. She's part of the Bachelor family, Miss Daniela.
Yes.
Daniela McBride.
We love her.
She seems she was like in the mix throughout the whole episode. I would have liked for her to have stayed.
Yeah.
Just because she seems like she's just in the middle of everything.
She always
had
has a
some
good
good
soundbite.
one-liners, yeah. The whole thing about sometimes people laugh, sometimes they don't, and then she just laughed about it. Like, that was funny.
She did have some good one-liners.
Yeah.
Wait, my favorite one-liner, I have to say, since we're talking about it, that she said, because she was talking about Ashley, and she was like, I want to fall asleep, like I don't want to get murdered in my sleep.
Yeah, I love that part.
That was great. She's funny.
And then bringing always his classy spirit. Mr.
My man.
Yes. Graham Bunn.
My man, Graham Bunn. Love that kid.
All the ladies were loving Graham Bunn.
Graham is one of the nicest guys in the world. How can
He's
you
a
not
catch,
like?
yeah.
How can you not like Graham?
And I already had a hard time with it already when Claire and Ashley were already kind of staking their claim.
Yeah.
Let it settle a little bit.
It seemed like all the girls, like Daniela said in a soundbite, she's like, oh yeah, well, Graham, like, I'm going to flirt with that.
Yeah.
And then Ashley was like, yeah, that's mine. No one else's.
Is that fair?
No.
I mean, that's part of
even on this show.
I think that's her play, though. Like, she's playing it like I'm gonna freak out on anybody. I'm gonna make it very apparent that that's the guy I want, and I guess it worked.
50 Shades of Grey.
50 Shades of Grey.
Is that yours? Did you
What?
come up with that one?
She did,
I have seen it elsewhere.
Damn.
I'm sorry.
but
like that one.
not in relation to Ashley.
No.
Yeah.
So
Well, I don't think I would say any girl that not just her.
I know.
And I think that that's one of those things where like the situation is you are there to find love. It's not like you go to someone at a random bar. That's
Right.
crazier. If you're like that one's mine. None of you guys can have them. That's.
but in this
crazy.
situation, she walked right in and went for it. Which
It was less than 24 hours. There was no claim. I
Yeah.
think that it was not her place to tell Claire that she couldn't go.
I thought that was the most unfair part of it. That was the part of
Yeah.
it that was weirdest for me, was when she freaks out and then Claire just like flip flops for her.
Yeah. That's if I were Claire, wouldn't I just be kind of bitter and resentful for that? Because
But
I
on
mean,
the same
this is-
side, it doesn't say like what Claire's feeling. Like at this, obviously Claire wasn't that into it because it wasn't a big deal. She's
Sure.
like, fine, sure.
Honestly, though, I feel like she knew there wasn't a romantic connection with her and Robert going into it, and so she was kind of bummed because she wanted to explore what could have been.
Yeah, no, and see, it's funny the difference between how men and women handle being the object of one person's affection. Let's say multiple women like Graham, and multiple men seem to really be into our next
Yeah.
person, Lacey.
Yeah.
Easy.
I would have loved to see, though, Graham pick which girl he liked. Like, as opposed to, I don't know. I feel like with Lacey, like, it was obvious, okay, Lacey likes these two guys both like her. They would have picked her regardless. And I feel like the opposite way, like, we never really saw, like, him say, like, oh, I was actually kind of interested in getting to know Claire. Or him saying, like, for sure, like, oh, I really like Ashley.
I think Graham was taking his time. I think
Yeah.
Graham was doing what I would do. Yeah, I would.
Probably the classier way.
wouldn't. Yeah, I don't know if I would just go off my first impression or first inclination. I would give it a day, too. If somebody asks me, I'll spend some time
I
with
think
you.
it's also because the guys were more lax because they figured that two girls were going home, so the girls
Yeah.
had to.
The guys were.
Totally.
Let's talk about that. The guys are very lax. Every time they show Dylan's like barely like he's like looks like he's almost laying down and like with a drink in his hand. Mark's is like whatever. We hardly even saw Ben. Every time we saw him, he was just like laying on a couch. Like they were all kind of like come to me.
because they didn't have to worry about it that week.
That's got to be kind of a cool feeling because then.
Or an awful feeling for a girl. Girls do not want to pursue a guy.
Right.
That sucks.
That's why that made this
Wow,
episode
welcome
so
to a man's
interesting.
world.
Yeah.
It's
Pursuing
different. It's
someone is
different.
hard.
Pursuing is difficult any way you slice it.
Meh.
You
Yeah,
know, okay.
no, it's hard. It's fun. Don't
Yes.
get me wrong, but it's not easy, especially when
Put
you want
yourself
like
out there
something
for rejection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either sex. It's unfortunate. But let's talk about Ben. You spoke about Ben. Why did he get villain music as he comes
Right
up?
away. Yes, we
Why?
noticed that.
They do that because they want you to subconsciously, like he was
It's a trigger.
he was the villain on his season, because he was still in a relationship.
Yeah.
And I think that they want you to associate him with still being a villain. Like that's why they brought him on the show.
Kathy, was that music a trigger for you? Right when he walked in and you heard the villain music, you're like, oh yeah, I forgot. Like he was the like. Did
no,
it trigger?
I remember that he was.
Not that you didn't, but did it like bring
I think for
back
other people.
for non-people that don't talk about The Bachelor in depth every week?
I know.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, I really don't remember him that much. Like he wasn't like a villain where I was like, oh my gosh, like that person is, you know, like you remember. I feel like the tiaras and like Courtney, even though she's awesome. I don't know. I didn't think that he stood out that much as.
I just remember his exit. His exit was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
The 2-on-1 date.
Yeah, he was drunk and he was cussing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, because I noticed the guys were
seemed
even
like he was
saying,
drunk, I don't know.
you could hear the VO, I don't know if it was Robert or something, I don't want to say names, but they're saying people already kind of not vilifying him, but just saying they were kind of hating on him without knowing him.
The girls wouldn't. No one even like offered like, oh hey, you know, like you should get a drink. Some girl was just, I forgot who it was, but she's like, well, I guess I'll be nice and get you a drink.
It was Lacey or Elise, one of the two. But yeah, I forgot about that when he first walked up and it was just silent.
So
I think it was also because they were all the girls were hoping for guys that they could potentially date, and they had already canceled him out of the running.
Yeah. No, and before we move on, actually, before we move on to Michelle K, who we have a lot to say about from someone who we rarely see on screen, I do got to bring up Walmart. Yes. And the fact that we have this great thing. Okay. I had this, there was one time I bought a 55-inch Samsung TV. And I regret to say I spent over $800 where I could have saved somewhere else by getting it at a lower, cheaper rate. And Walmart has this thing. It's called Savings Catcher.
Yeah.
And what you do is actually you can there's even an app for it. And basically what they'll do is you put your receipt in there. You type in your receipt, and they will tell you if you could have saved money elsewhere at a more like one of their competitor stores.
Interesting.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's
so
nice.
It's simple, easy to use. Go to walmart.com/savingschecker. And then it'll show you actually how much you could save on anything advertised. So it's definitely I recommend it because I lost $800 the hard way.
Well, I gotta get a new TV soon, so there we go.
There you go. So go to walmart.com/savings
catcher.
Bam.
All
right, let's move on back to Miss Michelle. How do you say her last name? Kuwaza. Kwaza.
It kind of sounds like crazy.
We'll go with Michelle K.
Michelle K.
And same thing with Ben. Like Danielle brought up the fact that that she kind of had slightly like a bad rap, and
she got the villain music a little bit too.
And she was all the way from Jake's season.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we also remember her. Wasn't she on Bachelor Pad?
Yes, she was.
And that whole situation. So yeah.
So nor here nor there. I just know that she's bad.
Yeah.
So I already think she's bad. I'm not gonna like her.
Oh, and then she was the one who said right away, she was like, oh yeah, so there's more of us girls than guys. Someone's gonna be catfighting. She said it like right when she walked in, and Elise or Lacey, one of the two kind of looked like, what the
and
like
then
already?
She was the one when Chris Harrison, she was not prompted to speak, and he's like, so we're all single, and she goes, maybe.
I think she was trying to be funny and it wasn't. And this is my favorite part. Graham, my guy, he gets up and he's just like, well, see you later, walks to the other side. And I don't think Graham was trying to be funny. I mean, I know Graham pretty well. He's not trying to be funny. He was being dead serious.
Oh,
and then
really?
they do his little interview and he's like, why in the world would I spend time sitting next to someone who may or may not be single? He's like, that's not worth my time. I loved that. I thought that was
I love
awesome.
that you would rather sit next to a dude than sit next
to a dude with his shirt off, which, by the way, Robert, they just cut to it, and Robert's just sitting there with his shirt off already.
You know what? We should start like a fund to help buy, get a shirt for Robert.
Get a shirt for Robert, yeah.
We can start
Give him the shirt off your back. If you're a good friend, you would.
Oh, man.
Oh, boy,
I would.
this is
Robert,
gonna be
I would.
rough.
He knows that.
All right, but we still got more interest, so we definitely got to move on. We've covered Robert and his lack of shirt, and we need to move on. Dylan got a haircut?
Dylan got a haircut.
We saw it in the men tell all,
yeah,
but
I have to say, I'm a fan of the haircut. I wasn't as much of the old one, and I like the new one.
Yeah. Girls were really excited for the guys from Andy's season because they hadn't met them yet. So it was like fresh meat almost. That's how I felt when they were walking
It was
out.
like fresh
it was
fish?
like when
Meat?
so they
Fresh
were walking
seafood?
up.
Fresh seafood?
Marcus, Dylan, and Markel. The girls were like, "Who's that? I don't know who that is. Who's that?" Yeah.
oh yeah, because they really don't have a reference
But
point.
who was most excited to see Dylan Markel. They ran down and did like a giant. I wish they would have slow motioned it and cut the music in.
they're already paired up.
Almost paradise. And like, because they like jumped and like embraced in the air. It was awesome.
Yeah, they should. I wish they would take him a few more liberties that way, make it a little more cheeky. You know?
Yeah.
Because it is about love, but there's also those funny moments.
Especially at the beginning, before any of this like crazy drama hits the beach ceiling fans. I was trying to go with something there. You got a better one than I did.
Yeah.
But I would have enjoyed seeing like a little stuff like that. Like the raccoon. When they made look like Claire was talking to the raccoon, like I would have liked to see.
Maybe they'll make it the mascot. So moving on, we got to wrap up. We got two more. We've got Elise. Elise from.
Who doesn't know how to walk in the stairs in wedges.
That's what I was saying. Take off your shoes.
She
you
was
don't
like
wear shoes on
crawled.
the beach.
I missed that.
Stairs. Yeah.
No, but and I noticed they had a little fantasy island reference underneath. I don't know if the music when she entered. So I think she's gonna break some hearts there.
Early prediction from JC.
Absolutely.
Well, I guess we saw that in the end teaser a little
No, even
bit.
before that, I just have a feeling like I've
Yeah.
said even a few weeks ago. I said she and Chris B were gonna break some hearts because something tells me about them. But last arrival. Okay, Cathy, I'm gonna leave this one to you. What was it, the eye thing with Ashley Frazier? Why was she at the beach? I'm not good with terminology.
I didn't think
that
she had
too.
an eye thing. You thought she had an eye
No, you just
thing.
said
No,
that it looked like her
mascara.
eyes were closed.
She has thin eyes.
I have that too. When I smile too hard, my eyes are kind of closed. I call it Taylor Swifting.
No, it was like mascara or what's the other one?
She said on thick eyelashes.
Yeah, it was really thick, and I couldn't tell if her eyes were open or closed. And we're at the beach.
I kind of like that. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah.
He thinks she's hot.
Oh, I think she's stunning.
She's
She
a
is.
gorgeous,
She's gorgeous.
girl. Yeah,
and she's got that little
definitely is.
she's got that little Ahu girl thing going on with her hair. It's a new thing I learned this week. When your hair is sun-kissed naturally from spending too much time in the sun. My roommate Phil taught that to me.
It's a Hawaiian term.
It's a Hawaiian term. And since
Hawaiian
they're on the
slang.
beach,
The more you know.
tropical.
the more you know.
Wow.
But she did. She had like that
Yeah.
sun. I think she looked really, really like stunningly beautiful.
Okay, so now we've broken down the first 13, and I was
Yeah.
like, wait, I thought they were supposed to be 14.
Yeah.
So they had already teased us like 20 minutes into the show. So we got the breakdown with the gameplay. You know, 8 guys, 6 girls, or 7 guys. No,
Yeah.
7 girls, 6 guys.
I
Get it
wanted to
straight.
say one thing about Lacey's entrance too. The guys were like, "Oh, she's gorgeous. She has beautiful eyes," and I felt like she was more like, "Why are you looking at my eyes? My boobs are down here."
You thought she was like opposite?
Like, that shirt was so busty.
I didn't even notice it.
No,
Stop it.
no.
You
Stop.
were dudes.
I
Stop
didn't even
it.
see it.
No.
What color was it?
Yeah.
Stop it.
What color was that?
Her eyes are like
You
the
guys are
ocean.
lying.
Yeah.
You guys are lying.
I was just noticing. Tell me, JC, if you noticed this. I noticed almost her eyes in the ocean were like the same color. So much so I didn't really even see.
Yeah, they're dreamy. They're like a female
It was like
Marcus.
perfect for
eyes.
paradise.
You guys are such liars.
Maybe her and Marcus end up together because they have similar eyes.
You have the prettiest eyes.
Thanks.
You're supposed to tell me that. My
Oh,
eyes are
you have the prettiest eyes, Cathy. I thought you meant
No,
me.
you have the prettiest eyes.
All right, we're off the rails already. So, any thoughts of the first night before we get into the dates and the date
Yeah,
cards?
I do. Before
Go
we get into
for
the
it.
dates, I thought it was really funny when they're out in the ocean. I believe it was Robert and Lacey. Or no, at this point it was
See, he can't even keep
It was
track after
Marcus
Buzz.
and Lacey at this point.
One of the
That
two.
doesn't matter. The point is, it cuts to Claire, and she goes, "Well, it's a good spot for a conversation." I thought that was really funny, and I don't think they put enough onus on that because it was like the crux of drama around Claire for several episodes.
Yeah.
She says, "Not me. I learned."
She's like, "Well, that's a good spot for conversation." I thought that was really, really funny, and it almost like you didn't catch it unless you
Yeah.
listened really closely.
"Yeah." Just what I get is it shot over. Was it 3 weeks? 3-4 weeks?
A little. I think
No,
it was
it was
4.
3 weeks. I think that they were in seclusion, from what I've heard, for a couple days in Mexico before they actually went into that location. So
I think you're right, and you referenced this actually back when we were on the Bachelorette. That when we were talking about, we didn't know who was there yet, and you said, well, if you look at their Instagrams, you can see how long they haven't posted for, people that you wondered about. And if you look, a lot of these people, like a Robert who didn't post forever, and then all of a sudden he comes back with like a throwback Thursday to Tulum once it was announced, and there was about a 4-week gap in a lot of people's.
Yeah. So, but what I was going to refer is that it's only 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So, yes, it's, as we know, Bachelors, romance on steroids.
Yeah.
Now you have 3 weeks to fall in love. How can you genuinely fall in love in 3 weeks?
It's
My
possible.
I think that you might be falling. I don't know.
If you completely fall.
When Elise said later in the day, she was like, well, I'm genuinely in love with Dylan.
I just think it's too soon to tell him. Like, what?
That has to be a soundbite from later.
Okay.
Filming. Like, that cannot be from the first night.
I'm so gullible. I was like, I thought she actually said it that
Yeah,
night.
I
Thank you,
didn't think
Cathy,
about
for
that. Yeah, you're
bringing that
probably
up. So let's get into the first date, which is a triangle, somewhat, because it starts up Claire and Graham. I mean, scratch that. Robert, let's explain what happened there. Are we talking Boylan Bunny? What's going on? Ashley just threw a fit.
She got her way. Are you mad at her for how she did it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it messed up on her, or was it more messed up towards Graham?
I think that he genuinely went there to potentially meet someone. And
Graham or Robert are we talking about right now?
Graham.
Okay.
And I feel like that prevented him from doing so. Like, she staked her claim. And like the girl said, now no girl wants to go after him because...
Yeah. Puts Graham in a tough spot because next week when the girls hold the power, if he does anything to throw Ashley off, she might be like, well, screw you, you're not getting my rose. And now what's Graham going to do? Like, go fake find somebody else for the week to stay? Yeah. I don't know. I'm really curious to see what happens.
Yeah, see that puts him in the rough spot for the rest of the show. I mean, that's not. Sorry, I'm not just like that. I want Graham to find love.
I do too.
I do. Graham's awesome.
I know.
He's the coolest guy. Yes, I have a man crush on him. Yeah, I'll say man crush. I'm noticing my voice gets deep. Man crush.
One more time.
Man crush.
All right, got it.
Because I just wanted to find love anyway.
You're a secure dude.
So thank you, Cathy. Now, I was going to say, did you notice that the dates? It was more about what happened outside of the dates.
Yeah.
The planning of the dates than the dates themselves. We really didn't see much on the dates.
The dates were so short. Like you said, I feel like the only date that we really saw some of was Robert and Claire's date.
But did they show it to us because it was funny? Like
I think they showed us more because of the ants, than the actual
and Robert
date
taking
itself.
his shirt off again.
Yeah.
No, you know what? I will give credit to actually the date between. I don't know if we should just jumble all the dates together because they're all rather short. But did we see anything? Claire and Robert, anything besides the ants? There was no connection.
They didn't kiss. Like, I felt like it was more two friends hanging out.
Yeah, almost like they had previous
and she said,
friendships.
well, she said that. She said that we hang out in the same group, and you know, I never really saw him in a romantic light, but maybe we'll see.
Yeah.
And it seemed like there was no change from.
Yeah, because to me, the date that actually, I don't know, tugged at my heartstrings was Sarah and Marcus.
Sarah and Marcus down in the cave in the tunnel.
Beautiful date.
So cool. Great date.
Yeah.
And then they jumped off together. Like, I thought that was really cool. And I was proud of her. Like, I almost felt proud. Like, go after it. Give it a shot. Speak your mind and your feelings if that's what you're feeling. And Marcus received it. I thought that was really cool.
That was such a cute line. I feel like the girl that just asked the hottest guy at the dance to dance, and he said yes.
And he said yes, yeah. And no,
Sarah,
and we danced, yeah.
I love that. That's so freaking cute.
It felt like a rom-com to me, like a little romantic comedy, because before they got to their second platform to jump, she went for the kiss. It was like the perfect timing. Now, Danny, you spent some time in. Have you been to? Was that in Tulum?
I've been to Tulum. I've stayed right there in Riviera Maya, and then I've been to those exact ruins where Robert and Claire were.
Oh, okay. I thought it was.
And I was in a cave. I don't know if it was the same cave. That's harder to tell. But I was in a cave just like that.
It was dark.
No, it was actually during the day, and there was sun that like seeped through, but like you could see. It was the coolest thing ever. I've been to Tulum. It was one of the coolest places I've been in my life. Top three.
Top three, really? Wow, ABC should hire you, man. That's fantastic.
No way, Jose.
Location scout.
Yeah, there you go. So,
Yeah.
Yes, hire me for that job.
Tonight is Danny's last episode.
Location scout. That's amazing.
Yeah.
But in between these dates, we have an entrance.
We do have an entrance.
Yes.
A good entrance.
A great entrance. Miss Michelle Money.
Yay.
Markel's already smitten. He's looking. We're all loving because she's.
He said she's next level gorgeous, which she is.
Yeah, he's a next level kind of woman.
Yeah.
And both seem, they seem pretty excited. And like you said, Cathy, was this probably her first time meeting Markel?
It was.
Yeah.
So then that's, like you said, that newness, I know everyone, but this is
fresh seafood. Yeah.
I feel like Michelle's story is very relatable.
Yes.
She is a single mother. She's 33. She feels like she has this clock ticking where she's worried that she's like, guys will find her too old. Like, that sucks.
So how does that separate her between Ashley and Claire, who are also 33? Because we're immediately drawn to, like, I spoke to Michelle last week, and the same thing she said on the show. She told me last week.
I don't think of them as like.
You really, she has her daughter. She, oddly enough, she doesn't go on very many dates.
That shocked me.
But
maybe because she's so well-spoken, she's so stunning, gorgeous. Like maybe some people are intimidated. Like it takes a man who can.
I don't understand that.
But it takes a man who can understand and embrace that, because not every guy can. That's it. Because let me say this. Just like Markel said that she's a next level woman, it takes a next level guy to be with someone like that.
You ought to like quote that right there.
That's what I'm saying. Like that literally, when you meet somebody that's a next level woman, it takes a next level guy. And
I like that.
Do you think Markel is the next level? I think Markel
Absolutely.
is, if you had to pick a couple on the show, he's definitely one of the next level guys on the show. So there could be something there.
Gosh, yeah, and the fact that, okay, on their date, just one quick line about the date for me. I love that Markel, the way he petted the horse, because he never touched the horse.
And then, wait, did you see when they were walking behind it? He kind of like, he moved her and like took the inside route, so like she could, like when they walked behind the horse, he kind of like moved her and they walked around like that. It was like a protector kind of thing. I thought that was really cool. I don't know if you guys noticed that.
I didn't catch
That's
that.
a next level move from Markel.
I'm not surprised with him. He always goes with the flow. And
Michelle wants the cookies.
let's let that one simmer. Let's let that one simmer. That's not dead air, Steven. We're letting that one just hit. Well played, Cathy. Well played. All right, so let's move on to, yes,
Oh, we didn't talk about, I just want to talk about this a little bit more. I know we briefly talked about it earlier, but Claire, when she's deciding whether to take Graham or Robert, she's having a conversation with producers, clearly. That's why they didn't show it. And they cut to a raccoon every single time. She looks like she's crazy, but I know that that's not the situation. It was just, that was comical.
That was comical.
Maybe it's topical. Guardians of the Galaxy, Disney,
Still haven't
ABC.
seen it yet. Also comical was, we didn't talk about this either. Before Michelle does anything, she's like, I need to talk to you, right at Graham. And they go, and it looks like they have a nice conversation. And then they pull out the handshake, like, whatever they did, it was like perfectly
Secret
done.
handshake. I mean, they've been friends for a long time,
Right.
so that makes
That
sense.
that was cool. Like I
Yeah.
thought that was kind of cool to see that moment behind the scenes.
It's not
and
so
I
secret
thought,
anymore.
Not so secret anymore. But I kind of thought, as a viewer, maybe they were setting us up for something there, like to see
Do you
something.
think they could rekindle something?
I don't know. I'm curious to see. I don't know, but I thought they gave it to us for a
that ship
reason.
has sailed.
You think so?
That was a good joke. I think they gave it to us for a reason.
Yeah, that is true.
And I don't know what that reason is yet.
To make us think that they're gonna get together and they're not.
Cathy, we want love.
This is paradise.
I think that they love each other, but they're not in love with each other.
Okay.
I think that's probably pretty accurate, actually.
Yeah.
I think you're about
I would agree
80-40
with
on that.
Yeah, I think that's about 80
I'm 120% correct.
Lacey, we're just giving you a sweet time. We love you.
Oh, that was great.
But that
Referring to when Lacey said she was in between two guys, and she said, I'm 80-40.
between Robert and Marcus.
Yes.
Math.
So Robert was the 80 and Marcus is the 40?
Apparently.
Yeah, but then she...
Hashtag math.
Yeah.
I mean, but Marcus was very sad, and we're 3 days into this.
Yeah. I think Marcus is going to be sad. If anything isn't good, it's going to be extra bad, if that makes sense. Like, for instance, if it doesn't go his way, it's not just going to be like, oh, that sucks. It's going to be like, oh, well,
Why
great, another
me?
dagger in my life. You know what I mean?
And Charlie Brown walk away. Meh. Marcus.
So what do you guys think of their dinner? Anything? Or it's just too early. It almost seems like a little bit of the game now, because Lacey, a lot of guys are going to like Lacey, it seems like.
Yeah, because of her eyes. Her eyes are stunning.
Absolutely.
You guys.
She's sitting. No, you know what though? There's a magnet. Like she's a magnet.
She's gorgeous.
You want to look at you want to be around her. Her smile, her aura. Like she's got a magnet personality.
Who said it while we were watching it about they reminded her? She reminded you of was it Nicole Richie or?
I said that when she's sitting there with her sunglasses on, she looked like Nicole Richie.
Yeah, so she's very, very, very attractive.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
Nicole Richie was on. I was listening to her this morning. Like I love people like that. She reminds me in personality of Nicole too.
I still don't understand why she was sent home the first night on Juan Pablo season.
Yeah.
We only got to see like 2 minutes of her. I think and I looked at her job. She's like a nursing home like owner.
Oh.
Yeah. So she helps the elderly.
Yeah.
So
Just another reason.
Yeah. So we didn't get to learn about that in Juan Pablo season. Maybe we will now in Paradise.
Hopefully we will. Yeah.
So now we got cócteles y rosas. Cócteles y rosas. Cocktails and roses.
Cocktails and roses and Michelle.
Yes. And this is where the gameplay gets involved.
Yeah.
Where we're striking not deals, but Sarah approaches Marcus, and
Which I like that. I mean, you're in this situation. You're probably gonna have to have conversations like that are a little awkward, but it's necessary for the format of this show.
I think the way that he said it though was not respectful though. Like telling her like, well, to be honest, I'm more interested in Lacey than you is essentially.
But you deserve a rose. That's like saying like you have a really good heart. It's not you, it's me. Is what I feel like he was saying to her. And I don't think like she kind of liked it, and it kind of was interesting to me that she goes, I thought that was nice of him.
I think that
don't
she was
think
just
really
so
thought-
happy getting a rose.
Yeah, because
at that point.
But she didn't even have one yet. At the thought of maybe getting one from Marcus, like he was kind of saying that I might give you one, and that gave her hope, and she liked that. But I didn't like the way he said that to her.
okay, maybe I'm not against what he said in the sense that he wanted to give her a rose to, he was upfront. I'm not feeling it with you. I'm really, my heart is already invested in someone else. Mm-hmm. It's clean cut. But he wanted to give her a rose so she is afforded the opportunity to find love in the following week or the following weeks.
I get the sentiment.
Yeah.
I think the way that he phrased it was not.
But
nice.
our argument is moot because he ended up giving the rose to someone else.
Yeah.
So that's where I kind of go, okay, that's where he kind of poo-pooed the bed. That I just wasn't down with that. But then Markel, and we had that soundbite from Markel saying, follow your feelings. So is he wrong entirely? It's layered with Marcus there. So, I mean, you can't fault him, but then Lacey's without a rose and, Robert and Lacey, what do you do? I mean...
Lacey had a rose. You mean?
Well, I'm talking about before we handed out the rose.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Just like the deals that people are making
I
left and right.
definitely think that the producers put Marcus before Robert.
Oh,
because
yeah.
they knew that was going to happen.
Here's one.
They also, it seemed like they're just handing out date cards to create the most drama possible.
Well, that's what I was just going to say. Here's one thing I think we'll see a lot of this season that I think will make it a lot of fun for the viewer is real-time decisions by producers. So whether it's your order on the rose ceremony, it's, okay, we got a little drama here.
Yeah.
Let's give this date card to this person since she's really got two options right now.
Yeah.
We're going to see a lot of real-time decisions that as we're feeling it as the viewer is how the producers were feeling it in the moment, and they made their next move based on how we as the viewer would feel. I like that.
And these producers know these castmates because they've been with them.
Right, so they can make even more educated decisions. It's like reading a book with two endings and you choose which way. Like, you don't know as you
God.
go. Yes.
Or Cupid.
They're playing God Cupid.
Yep.
So the producers are smarter than everyone else except for Michelle K, who in the middle of the rose ceremony decided Markel is about to...
I think she knew that she was going to get sent home.
Do you think
and so
producers
she didn't
need to,
want,
like, save face
she
a little
didn't
bit?
want to,
Right before she said something, do you guys remember? I was like, wait, why is she doing that? Because she went like this twice. Remember when we were talking about this on the show, but people subconsciously do this? They're standing there and...
They're not sure if they want to say something.
And she went like this, like as they were going down the line, she goes like this. And I was like, wait, why did she just do that? It was right before she goes, wait, I have something to say. She went like this.
Yeah.
And then she had something to say.
Oh, the secrets that she must have.
And you see when Chris was like, Markel, why don't you put the rose down and go back? And Markel was like, okay, this is so awkward. And he like backpedaled literally.
Yeah.
I wish we would have found out just to close that chapter with Michelle, unless it's something
What
that's
did she say in the
must-
car ride? There was something that she said.
She said it with a sly
she's
smile.
like, am I upset that I didn't find love here? Like, something about...
I may find love outside of here. Something
It
like that.
alluded to
It's
at the beginning.
alluded to like she already had someone that she...
But that's the second time she talked about this
Yeah.
episode, so maybe that really is the case. But I think
Does
that
she want people to know?
it must be valid. Whatever happens must be valid enough because they teased it for next week and didn't completely close the door
Yeah.
for a reason.
If
So
she-
either like she comes back or the guy went down there that she's seeing. Like something happens, and I think it
She
could
was
be
happy
part
with
of.
whatever it was.
I don't know. I'm really like that could be a fun piece of drama to watch.
Or they're just,
Unfold.
or what I hope this isn't the case, that they're stringing it along because we don't have a lot of things that happen
Yeah.
in the next few weeks.
I really feel like this was the
That's what
most
I'm worried about.
dramatic episode of Bachelor in Paradise ever, though.
Great.
Me too.
Great observation, Kathy. All right, so
Gosh,
let's talk
so
about our
much
pairings.
dramas.
We have Markel giving his rose to Michelle.
Michelle with the extensions down past her hip.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like Rapunzel in there.
Yeah.
Gotta be hot with all that hair.
I'm not. She looked good. I'm not
She
mad
always
at it.
looks good, yeah.
And we got Graham and Ashley. Surprised.
Ashley with the little crop top showing the stomach. Jeez.
That dress was cute.
And
Fire.
then Dylan and Elise.
show.
Smoke show. Yes.
Elise or Ashley?
Ashley for
Ashley.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
both.
both,
I was
yeah.
still talking about Ashley when I
Yeah.
said that.
I'm a Team Elise guy.
You know, we didn't see a lot from that. That could be
Well,
we
because we saw it in the preview for next week that she's making out with another dude.
right. I'm just curious to see what happens. You said it, and I think you were right. She said it. Kathy said this while we were watching. She said Dylan and Elise kind of like make a good couple.
They look really cute together.
Yeah.
So maybe she's making out with whoever she was making. Was it Chris?
She needed a fallback option. She needed a plan B.
So maybe she'll. Oh boy. Maybe she'll go back to Dylan, back and forth with the next guy that comes to Paradise.
She had to have a plan B.
Yeah. Okay. Now we have Marcus and Lacey. He followed his heart.
He did. It looked like that was an on-the-spot decision to me, too. It looked like he got up there with the rose. He scanned the girls, looked at Sarah and was like, I'm sorry, but like I feel this. And he went for it. Kind of like she went for the kiss with him.
That was really bad advice on Dylan's part
Yeah.
too earlier, where he's like, well, like, as your friend, I feel like you need to protect yourself right now and just play really hard to get. Ignore her. What? If she likes two guys and she just asked someone out on a date, like,
But wait.
if you ignore her and you don't fight for her, she's gonna pick the other guy because
Yeah.
you're not in the picture.
Doesn't that make him more intriguing?
I
don't know.
No.
I'm grasping for straws. I'm trying to find something
I think
here.
men are more attractive who go for what they want.
Okay. So
Next level men.
next level man. So Robert and Claire. We know that's we believe that's not even a showmance. It seems just like friendship to us.
I think Robert wanted to give her the chance to find love, but he
Yeah.
knows it's not with him. Kind of like what we were talking about with Sarah.
And then last but not least, Ben, the villain. The villain is Ben.
He's like, this sucks. Really, does it
was
suck?
so
or does
weird.
it suck for the two girls that are standing there that have no idea what's going on?
Maybe Ben really wants to be liked.
Like, I don't even know. I'm trying to picture if I was watching that. If I'm a producer, like, filming, I would have laughed out loud. He just walks up and goes, this sucks. I would have laughed. If I'm Chris Harrison, I would have laughed like, wait. I think that it's going to be very interesting to watch. Somebody said this, and I can't remember who said it at the beginning. They said, though, that now they get to feel like what it's like to be in the shoes of the Bachelor or the Bachelorette, who always has the roses and has to make these decisions. And I think that, like, the gravity of that doesn't really make sense to people that have never been in those shoes. So
Yeah.
to watch that hit people in the moment is going to be very interesting to
Yeah.
see, because we're going to see it from every single
I
person.
noticed it from Markel. If
Yeah.
we're talking about this, when he was giving the rose to Michelle, watch it, and he's a little slightly nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Markel's cool
And
as a cucumber.
he knew who he was going to give
Yeah.
it to.
Because you're saying that you're like, okay, I like you.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
commitment.
It's
a form of
it's
like
sometimes hard to say, yeah.
Okay, so-
Especially that early on. I think that it's also different than the roses that we've seen given out on Bachelor Pad
'Cause they're
because there
full-length
were
roses.
money involved. No.
I'm just kidding.
Because there's money involved.
Yeah.
Like in Bachelor Pad. So you might not, like, I feel like sometimes it's like you want your teammate as opposed to your life teammate.
Oh boy, you two. No, so overall, let's thoughts before we close out and move on to any news and gossip. Thoughts of, did they get it right? this Bachelor in Paradise experiment?
I mean, I think
fun.
we'll see if any couples last out of it.
I got a lot of texts, tweets today. I got Snapchats of friends. Like, people are watching it. People are curious. And it's a lot of the same crew that watched The Bachelorette. And even a couple of my friends that, like, did not watch The Bachelorette.
You're hooked.
Are watching this, and I think they're hooked. So I think the audience, I think it'll be good. I'm curious to see the ratings.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am too. All right, so with that said, any news and gossip, Miss Cathy Kelley? None for this week. we were all in paradise, so let us move on to some predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Okay, we kind of already were guesstimating who had the broken legs, but what else do we see for next week? Do we see, well, Elise and I believe it was Chris? And what's going to happen there with Dylan? Is Dylan we'll get to see another side of Dylan.
Dylan could be the one that fights. Dylan could be one that fights.
Actually, yeah, I could see him.
You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, I bet you it's because Robert does kind of seem like a cool customer. He gets frustrated, but he's collected. You know what I mean? Even when he was pissed, sitting there in the beach chair, he was collected, and his mouth was shut. He wasn't like just speaking off the cuff.
Okay, all right. Anything else that we might see? Any more? Do we see more with Michelle and Markel? Do we see more with
Possibly
Marcus and Lacey? Anyone else with Lacey?
I want to see who she picks and if she sticks with someone as opposed to flip-flopping.
Flip flops. Another good. That was a good one.
All right. With that said,
Did you mean to do that?
It's the first
after I said
episode.
That, I was like,
Yep.
We're gonna have to get out of here, guys. So,
Snailed it.
Cathy, where can they find you? Not making sandcastles. Go ahead.
You can find me on the Twitters at Catherine Kelley and on Instagram at Cathy Kelley.
Just to make it hard.
And Beach Boy Danny.
You can find me in the Twitters versus at Danny Hoyt, and also on Instagram at my same name. It's just my name, Danny Hoyt.
And Stephen Lemieux. I think he's sleeping.
Yeah.
All right, and you can find me at JC Rubio TV on Instagram and Twitter. So for Stephen, Danny, Cathy, I'm JC. We'll see you in paradise.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.